Hi guys, this is Oliver and I. This is your career quest. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the channel. Hi guys, this is Brad with the Advanced Networkers, and I just wanted to go through, how to find a job online using Dice.com. This can really work probably for any others, but the reason I'm doing this video, excuse me, I wanted to essentially show people, because I've had many requests, really show people how to find a job online. It's not as difficult as you might think. Um, it's can be tedious. It can be something where, depending on your situation, if maybe you recently lost your job, maybe you recently have become unhappy at your job and you're wanting a change. It really depends, on your situation, how badly you need to change. In other words, if you lost your job and you have no emergency fund to rely on and you need to get a job yesterday type thing, or maybe you have an emergency fund and this is all part of your daily process, or I'm sorry, not your daily process, but your long-term process of taking a break every now and then. That'd be kind of on the other side. Some consultants do that. They'll work for 6 months and they'll take maybe as long as a month off or longer, depending on your situation. So anyways, that's kind of the gist of it. That's really, you know, where I started. I actually have mentored a few people as far as finding work, helping them to get back out on the market, helping them to start off in the market. So there's a couple different ways, but it all starts with a resume. And I'll include an example resume here, as we go through the video, possibly some links to download it as well. Uh, but yeah, this really where you start here is, as you see here on the screen, is dice.com. And the again, first and foremost, build your resume. And the thing about a resume, just briefly, we'll have another video just specifically on that. It's really too long just for one video, but just briefly on a resume building, you really want to try and maintain it as you're working. Now, if you don't have any job skills yet, if you don't have any time on the job, maybe you just came out of school and you have no experience to speak of, you know, you need to really, as you continue to work, and maybe you're an intern, any little thing you do, and learn. Now, that can be a questionable thing. Some people say, you learned it, but you haven't experienced it. Well, can you do it well enough to uh, demonstrate it in the workplace? You know, so there's a lot to that. You want to basically add all of that in the resume, and it what it boils down to now. This is really a really a secret unlocking resume career building tip I'm going to give you now. Dice, and some of you may or may not have known this, but let me know in the comments if you're learning something new here. That the search engines, Dice and Monster and um, Indeed, all of them, they work on keywords just like search engines. So if maybe let's use Microsoft for an example because they're kind of fun to beat up on, but to be honest, but say maybe you're a Microsoft desktop person, and and you're out there with your resume and it says nothing about desktop. How's that ever? You're never going to get found. So you see where I'm going here. If you're a Microsoft desktop person that does Windows 10, you want to have that, you know, all in your resume. and other keywords too, because what happens is when you first start applying, and we'll get more into this as we kind of go through things, but when you first start applying, you'll want to make sure those keywords are in there because the their equivalent of a search engine's the recruiters. Fun people they are, but we do have to deal with them. Yes, recruiters and HR departments, but mainly recruiters that work with Dice and such companies. They actually build a back-end database as well that's searchable. So it once they you kind of use the Dice engine and then you're into the uh, potential employer recruiter engine, it's the same thing. So you want to make sure, I'm not saying keyword stuff, but I'm making sure they're there and that you use them in a logical way that applies directly to the work that you've been doing. Now that's really kind of the basis of it, and the reason I kind of got a little lengthy there is because it's really a very necessary thing to include. Um, and then once you get your resume built, you can upload it to Dice. I'm not going to go through how to do that. It's pretty straightforward. You can go through the profile page, upload it, and let them go ahead and build their profile. You can make it searchable. I recommend a good headshot too. It doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need to be in a suit unless you feel the need. But make sure you have you're cleanly shaven, like as you can see I am. Maybe a haircut, comb your hair at least. Smile. Yeah, it's okay to smile. It helps. So anyhow, so go on to your favorite. I use Dice, and the reason for it, I've been doing this for 23 years, and Dice essentially tracks once you create a login, it will track the jobs you've already applied for. And that's a big deal because you could be on multiple, say you use multiple Dice, Indeed, different job boards. You'll get mixed up and you'll end up applying to two different jobs, and then you got recruiters asking you, hey, have you already applied for this job, and you'll lose track. So start at Dice, and if it doesn't work out, or if it's becoming too lengthy of a process, maybe you haven't found a job, then start switching. But stick with one or another, and make sure that whatever you're using kind of tracks the jobs you're already applied for. And that's probably hot tip number two is just that. And then the other great thing about Dice, and as you can see here, let's do Windows Desktop. Windows Desk. Okay, so it starts filling it in already, and I'm sure a lot of them do that. Um, let's do Windows Desktop Admin. Okay, so there's not a lot of people searching for it. Let's just use Chicago. Okay, it fills in Chicago, Illinois. That's great. Fine. And it breaks it down here. And this now here's hot tip number three that I want to give you is essentially, do you see here where it breaks it down by relevant, relevance, date, and distance? I recommend going by date. That's hot tip number three because, yeah, relevance is great based on what you typed in. That's all fine and dandy, but you want to apply to these jobs by date because that's, these employers, if they're looking for somebody, they usually want to fill it quick. They usually, especially right now, this being 2019, the job market's hot. People, they need to get job work done. They can't wait around. And if you're first on the list, sometimes it's not a great thing to be the first one interviewing. I've heard both ways, and I've done both. I've probably done over, I'd say, easily 50 interviews, if not closer to 100. And you'll want to, typically the first in's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's kind of a good thing being on the pile and double checking on things once you do interview. But we get into all that later. This is just the initial job searching, which is all too important. So you just go down this list and you basically start clicking them. Now here's a hot tip, another just minor hot tip. Right click and then open these in a new tab, because that way you can track as you go down the list the ones you're applying for. Now once you go back in, you'll see this turned to applied instead of easily applied. Okay. Now, what easily applied means is that you have your resume uploaded ready to go. And maybe you've made a couple different versions. Maybe you're a Windows desktop person, but also, oh, by the way, you're also a sysadmin person. It happens a lot. People do it all the time, or they have, it could be something totally different. Maybe you're an accountant and a Windows desktop person, you know. But once your resume's in, this will turn to easy apply, and then that knows those are the ones that you should look for initially because you can quickly apply to these. Okay, so I'm going to right click on a new tab. It's going to open up the job description. Go through it. Don't just willy-nilly start applying to things. I've heard recruiters complain about that. You know, you want to go quick. You do want to go quick. That is part of, the theory I teach. Some people may argue it or not, but it's worked for me. So, anyhow, so you go down here and okay, here's another great thing about Dice. They give you a lot of times how much they're paying. Wow, that's pretty good if you want to move to Chicago. So, anyhow, so you go down the list here. It also tells you work from home or not. You know, maybe you're a person that can only work from home. Maybe your situation is one of just working from home and that's all you want to do, and so it tells you that there. It gives you a description. Go through it. You know, you should pretty much know in your own mind what you can do on the job. So go through it. Make sure you meet everything, and then hit apply. Okay, and this is the beauty, and I'm gonna gray some of this out, obviously. Okay, but once your resume is uploaded, this is the easy apply part, which is a beautiful thing about Dice. I know a lot of them have it, but Dice still maintaining it. Dice, if you're watching this, please don't ever change it because it works great. So you can either click the resumes you have already uploaded, and you can title them by what you do, what your title is. Okay, and you can just hit that and then hit apply. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to live in Chicago. I mean, anybody who lives in Chicago, more power to you. I know it's a great state, it's a great city, but anyhow, apply now, or you can upload a a resume. Okay, so you don't have to necessarily be within their system. Again, then you select. It will probably go to your documents or wherever, and then select the resume. Make sure it's current. Make sure you put your job. Here's another tip number 4. Make sure your title is in the name of the document. Okay, that's huge. I've been a hiring manager and I've gotten resumes and they don't. I don't know what they are because on the end it all goes into Outlook and you get so many. You may get hundreds a day, and putting your title on the document, that's the game changer. And the date because they know it's more current rather than just some number that doesn't mean anything like whatever ABC 123. That's not useful. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I would do tip number 5. I would do a cover letter. It only takes a minute, folks. Just express your positivity to work there, and that you can when you can get started, that type of thing. It could be a couple paragraphs. Google it, but it's well worth it. Once it's uploaded, or you have it on your computer, you can continue to use it. So yeah, I would do as many as you can of these a day, and then going back in the next day, especially when the job market's hot. And okay, now that this would be applied to you, you come back over here and you would see it, that you already applied. It's a beautiful thing when you come back in the next day. You already applied, not mess with that one. There's filters where you can tell it the ones you've already viewed to weed those out too. Which is another great thing about Dice. Okay, I didn't want to make this too long. This is really a kickoff video to help people with their careers. We'll do more of these. We'll get into interviewing, resume building, and then actually on the job. Especially in the IT field, how to maintain, how to start first day type things and beyond. So Hope everyone's enjoying this, and please subscribe. See the description below for useful tool bag, we call it, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.